Hello and welcome back to Emma Russell's studio. Today I'm going to share some tips while creating small patterns in watercolor. So I have my color wheel. We are going to work with blues and oranges today. So we are going to start, I have a 5x7 piece of paper, my water, my paints, my round brush, a size 0, and I'm going to just activate some of the colors that I have here already on the page. So I'm activating an Antwerp blue and a Windsor blue, and I'm going to turn my palette. I like to sometimes have my paint on the one side and then activate it and mix it with water and thin out the paint on the other side where I have more of the pan. So I am doing that now. I'm getting my blues all mixed up. I will probably mix these two together as well throughout the painting. And I'm going to go in with some of my orange as well. Before I go any further though, I need to grab my pencil because I want to sketch out this circle in the middle first before I get the paint on the paper, because I want to leave this part open, and I find the best way to do that is to just do a really light pencil sketch. So we're going to go in with the blue first and just create little petal shapes for this flower. I'm using a size 0 Paulina Bright brush. It's the newest brush to my collection and I highly recommend it. It is really great to do larger petals, larger than even these flowers, and then you can also go in with really fine details all with the same brush. So I find it very practical and very multi-purpose. So I really love a tool that can do more than one thing. So in these flowers, I'm going to be adding a little bit of space in between them, and it doesn't need to necessarily be the same exact amount of space like if you see a pattern on a notebook or a scarf or a blanket. You know, it's not necessarily something that has been edited and digitized. So this is just a fun traditional painting, very playful. We're just playing around with different amounts of spacing with our flowers, and we're just going to make them really fun. So I go in, and another tip I want to share with you is really the way that you do the petals. So if you want it to look more realistic, like this one I'm just doing, you're always going to want the tip of your paintbrush to be pointed towards the center, and you're going to keep changing the angle of your hand to go around in a circle so that your petals are even and it looks like a flower. So that's one of the ways. And then as I paint these, you're also going to see a really quick and fluffy way that I'm creating my flowers, which is sort of like this one here, where I'm just kind of doing multiple strokes, just kind of going back and forth, but still going in that circle so we can have the center of the flower, and we're just making it really loose, and the petals aren't as exact, they aren't as symmetrical. So we're going to keep going with these blues, alternating some blues, and I want you to just fill in the space, just have some fun. Pick some different colors. You can even add your orange in, or if you're picking some other colors that you want to use, you can use some opposite ones and just kind of go back and forth. Like if I have a light blue flower, I might then switch to the darker one and kind of rotate the colors I'm using, so it helps add some variety to my page, so it's not just all one color, so we have different shades, different hues, different ways that the eye might catch the page. So let's keep doing that, and we'll get back to another tip in just a moment. So at this point, you can see I'm filling in this space. I'm adding some stems, some leaves, and I'm leaving a little bit of open space. Now, why? The answer is so that I can put some other colors in, like this complementary color of blue, which is orange. And that is why I use that color wheel in the beginning to help me reference that. If you're having trouble picking your colors, I find that to be very helpful. And we're just going to fill in the space with the other color, which is orange, and I'm going to put more flowers in, and you can do that with your complementary color if you have a different one other than orange at this point. As we finish up filling in that space with the other color, I'm going to put like these light blobs throughout, and they're kind of going to mark where I'm going to put my flowers, and I kind of like it as a little detail as well. Some of them might dry, some might appear underneath the flowers so you can't see them, but it kind of helps mark my page, and you can see I'm still going around that oval that I drew lightly in the center with pencil. I'm going to just kind of keep that area white and just go throughout and mark in some blobs. Now I'm grabbing some blue, my Antwerp blue, and I'm going to go in and start adding some flower details. So I'm going to go near the blobs or on top of them. Some of them still need to dry a little bit, so I'll wait for those to dry before I go in, just so the paint isn't getting all runny. And I'm just trying different ways to make some little flowers to make them really different so they mix throughout, so it's not just all the same boring flower. And so I'm going to go all around there with the blues, and then I will switch to oranges when I go on the orange blobs, and I'm kind of just playing it by ear, just going on what's dry, what's not dry, hopping around the page and just watching my hand so I don't smear it in there. So you can continue to fill all these in next. Now I really liked putting that stem in up top in the blue, so I think I'm going to go in with a little bit of orange and go around this bottom left-hand side of the oval and just kind of start to outline it with a little bit of a stem, just so it helps it pop a little, so it's not totally lost, because I don't know how close I'm going to make the flowers together in that area. So I'm just kind of doing 2 light strokes to make my leaves. I have a full video on how to paint leaves I'll link below that you can check out if you're wanting to learn more of that. But yeah, I'm just going to go in with that and kind of just keep going around with my orange details, maybe add some more blue. Here I'm kind of just pressing my brush in to form my petals. That's another different way that you can create a flower. And now these blobs are dry up top, so I'm going to go in and just paint over those. Now after this orange flower here on the bottom right, I think I'm going to go in with another stem with some little leaves down here right below it on the right. And sometimes another tip is kind of adding balance to your paintings. Like up top I have that blue one, so I'm going to kind of go at a diagonal and put one over to the other side. It kind of just helps your eye move from one part to the other. It just makes it feel really balanced. And so I will like alternate that or leave space, and that can just really help your piece feel more cohesive, especially with these tiny details when there's a lot of things going on. When you have like things together that kind of play with each other, it really helps your painting just feel better. So we are now nearing the part where it's like the final stretch of this painting, and it's where we're filling in all those little bits we have left, tying up those loose ends, and I am just going to create some more flowers that I have around this center oval to just really keep it nice and circular, to really make it that oval shape without having that pencil line there anymore. So I'm just going to go in with details and maybe add another stem in the oval as well after I finish a few more flowers. So we're just gonna keep going, keep putting flowers where you're feeling like there's a little bit too much white space. It could maybe have a little bit of color, and just going over those areas. I think I'm going to go in with a blue stem-like curve over here to make it the oval shape and then tie it in with some blue leaves. And as you keep going, you can just kind of feel what is going to work best for the painting. You kind of need to just keep taking a step back and seeing, what spaces are looking empty, what spaces could add a little more color, where is it looking really heavy on this color, should I balance it out with adding another color as well? And you kind of just go in and play it by ear and just by what you think looks good and what you want to add more of. It's a lot of painting, having fun, and then observing, and then repeating that whole process throughout the whole piece until it feels done. And I guess to make it feel done and not overworked, you want it to just kind of feel like, okay, it's all coming together. I think you reach the point where it feels overworked after thinking that you have completed it is when things start to get muddy, or maybe there's just too many colors that feel like they're really crowded or on top of each other. And that's kind of where you might think it's overworked. So to avoid that, it's best, I think, to just stop when you feel like, okay, you are in a good place. Nothing is too crazy. Nothing is on top of each other. And in this case, it might seem like some things are on top of each other, but it depends what you are going for. Like in this case, I want to have the blobs there. I want that underlying color. So for me, I think it looks really good, where someone else, maybe they didn't want that and that was accidental. And if that is the case, I would blot it up with a paper towel while it's still wet, and that acts as an eraser in watercolor. And yeah, then you can avoid it feeling muddy. But yeah, I'm getting to the point where it is looking good. And so I'm going to finish up the last details, and you can finish up yours as well. So let's finish up the rest of this, and then we will be done by just adding a few more flowers to where you have too much white space. And I hope these tips are really helpful for you when you are creating anything in tiny, small spaces. Please let me know if you would like to learn anything else in an upcoming video. And as always, I hope you have a great day. I will talk to you soon. Bye.